Hi and welcome back. Today at GeeklyEDU, we're going to be talking about two broad domains of life, specifically bacteria and archaea. All right, let's jump in. All life can be grouped most broadly into three domains, the first of which is bacteria, then archaea, and then eukarya, and they all evolved from a single common ancestor. And then we can also group bacteria and archaea together into what are called prokaryotes. So these are all living things with cells that lack a nucleus. A nucleus is basically just where the DNA is stored within a cell. And then eukarya are called eukaryotes, and this is because they do have a proper nucleus within their cells. And today we're just going to describe bacteria and archaea. Starting with bacteria, so bacteria are single-celled organisms, as I mentioned, without a proper nucleus, and many of them don't have proper organelles. And bacteria have cell walls that are made of peptidoglycan, and peptidoglycan is composed of sugars and amino acids, and these basically help that bacteria have a strong cell wall that protects it and gives it its shape. And then this is just a figure here of the peptidoglycan. And then some bacteria also have an outer capsule outside of the cell wall to give it extra protection, so some extra proteins outside of the cell wall. And then a lot of bacteria also have flagella, or if it's singular, it's called a flagellum. And then also pili, or again, for a singular form, a pilus. And the flagella will often help the bacteria move, so for locomotion. And so this long kind of string-looking thing here behind the bacteria is the flagella. And then we have the pili, which are the smaller lines that are surrounding the bacteria on this figure. And this helps the bacteria attach to things. Bacteria can be broadly described as being two main types. So we have our gram-positive and gram-negative. This comes from what's called the Gram staining method, and it was made famous by a Danish scientist, Hans Christian Gram, in 1884. And so he basically stained the cell walls of bacteria and then found that some bacteria stained a little bit different color because it had a thick cell wall, so that's called gram-positive. And others were stained slightly different color because of their thin cell wall, which makes them gram-negative. Moving on to archaea. So archaea are also very primitive prokaryotes, also lacking a nucleus, and are often single-celled organisms again. And compared to bacteria, their cell walls do not have peptidoglycan and rather contain other proteins or polysaccharides. So proteins are made up of amino acids, polysaccharides are made up of sugars. And a lot of archaea will have a lipid monolayer instead of a bilayer as their cell membrane. So here we have our little lipids, which has its head and its tails. So this is a monolayer because we just have one layer instead of another layer underneath, which is what most cells will have, is a lipid bilayer as their cell membrane. Archaea are also really amazing as they're well known for surviving in extreme conditions such as deep sea vents and areas where there's no oxygen. So they're really amazing living creatures as they can survive in these almost alien-like environments. All right, so now I have a quick critical thinking question. So here we're asking, you are a scientist who just discovered microbes in an unexplored cave, and you want to see if these are most likely bacteria or archaea. Which of the following would you look for? A, whether they have a nucleus. B, if they have organelles. C, if their cell walls are made of peptidoglycans. Or D, if they have two cell walls. And the correct answer is C, if their cell walls are made of peptidoglycans. So remember, Archaea do not have peptidoglycan in their cell walls, but bacteria do. And that is one of the main differences between them. I hope that you found this video helpful and that you enjoyed it. If you want to learn more about life and biology, please subscribe for more videos. Thanks.